The first scar is not the one seen by others. It is the one etched into the heart. The moment a cub realizes that the world is harsher than it imagined, that every roar is a choice, and every post-step can define the life to come, Kion had known safety, laughter, and the trust of the Pride Lands. But that changed the day the first shadow moved across their borders, not with fire or teeth, but with cunning and malice. He was young, brave, and untested, yet in that instant, the weight of leadership pressed down with a force that clawed at his spirit. The Lion Guard had gathered as usual, confident in their abilities, united by loyalty and training. But there was a difference in the air that day. Fully swift and fearless, sensed hesitation before the battle began. Best, the embodiment of strength and patience, felt it in the tremor of the ground beneath his paws. Ono's keen eyes searched the horizon for threats that were invisible, for danger that was only hinted at, and Bunga, the bold heart of the group, felt a stirring of uncertainty that he could not shake with jokes or bravado. Kion watched the horizon, his gaze sharp yet clouded with concern. The first attack came subtly, a strike that tested not strength, but awareness, loyalty, and courage. The attackers exploited gaps, not in muscle or speed, but in trust. Allies separated, miscommunications caused missteps, and for a moment, Kion felt a cold realization. The battle was not just against an enemy of claws and teeth, it was against the fragility of belief itself. The clash was swift and brutal. Fuli darted through the ranks of the enemy, her speed unmatched, but she hesitated to strike an adversary who had been misidentified as a friend. Best faced a confrontation that demanded more than force. It demanded judgment, and for the first time, he faltered. Or, unsure of the consequences of his strength, Ono relayed critical information too late, believing Kion could manage without it, while Bunga, trying to support, became a distraction that nearly cost him dearly. Each misstep carved invisible marks, each hesitation left impressions that would shape the cub's understanding of leadership. The first scar was born not of defeat, but of realization. Kion, despite his courage and roar, could not prevent harm from reaching those he loved. The enemy withdrew after the skirmish, leaving behind not only physical scars on the land, but emotional ones on those who had survived. Kion's first act of leadership in crisis had taught him that bravery without wisdom was fragile, that strength without foresight could fail, that even a king must learn to carry the weight of consequences as much as the roar that defends. That night, the Lion Guard gathered atop Pride Rock, not in triumph, but in reflection. The stars above seemed distant, their lights soft and uncertain, mirroring the new understanding that had taken root in each of them. Kion did not speak of victory or loss. He spoke of lessons, told his team that scars, both seen and unseen, are the marks that define growth, courage, and the path to true leadership. Fully listened, feeling the first sting of humility alongside pride. Best felt the importance of patience and discernment. Ono recognized the responsibility his knowledge carried, and Bunga learned that boldness without awareness could harm those he swore to protect. But the world does not pause for reflection. Dawn brought news of another threat, stronger and more cunning than the last. Kion's first scar had tempered him, but now he faced the crucible of his leadership. The Pride Lands relied on the Lion Guard, and every step, every decision, every roar mattered. 2. The young king realized that leadership was forged in the fires of adversity, tempered by mistakes, and strengthened by lessons learned. Scars were not weaknesses. They were proof that one had faced the impossible and endured. The second encounter tested not only physical prowess, but the depth of trust between the guard peaks. Each member had to rely on the other in ways they had not before. Fuli's speed was meaningless without guidance. Best's strength could falter without support. Ono's vision could fail without action. Bunga's courage alone was insufficient without strategy. Kion, carrying the first scar of experience, coordinated them with precision, not commanding, but inspiring trust. 2. Every decision balanced risk with the knowledge that lives depended not on individual talent, but on unity. As the battle unfolded, the scar within Kion pulsed with memory and warning. He remembered hesitation, misjudgment, and the cost of ignoring instinct. He adjusted, corrected, and led, allowing each member of the guard to act, trusting them fully even as danger pressed from every side. The enemy was relentless, but the Lion Guard's cohesion, born from lessons learned through pain, began to turn the tide. Every movement reflected the understanding that scars teach wisdom, that suffering nurtures growth, and that courage is not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it. Through the struggle, Muga, the youngest observer turned active participant, experienced his first true test. He faced enemies not as a bystander, but as a lion responsible for protection. Fear gnawed at him, but he remembered Kion's lesson. Scars are not marks of weakness. They are evidence of survival, endurance, and the path to greatness. Muga acted with precision, courage, and a newfound awareness, learning that true leadership requires the willingness to face danger head-on while trusting those beside you implicitly. By the time the sun reached its peak, the Lion Guard had not only repelled the enemy, but had solidified a foundation of trust that no shadow could easily undo. Kion looked over the Pride Lands. Men saw not just the physical scars of battle, but the emotional and moral ones that had shaped his team. He understood that a true king is defined not by victories alone, but by the scars endured, lessons learned, and the resilience cultivated in the hearts of those he leads. The evening brought reflection, storytelling, and recognition of growth. Rafiki reminded them that every scar, visible or invisible, carries wisdom that no book, training, or teacher can impart. The first scar is always the most painful, yet it is the one that shapes character, courage, and the capacity to lead with heart and mind. Kion and his guard shared experiences, reinforcing trust, understanding, and unity. Each scar became a symbol not of vulnerability, but of strength earned through endurance and challenge faced bravely. The Pride Lands themselves seemed to breathe with renewed energy. Animals returned, borders stabilized, and the circle of life, though tested, endured. Kion realized that scars are not just memories of pain, they are proof that a lion has faced fear, survived, and emerged prepared to defend the land with wisdom and courage. Leadership, he understood, is never a gift given lightly. It is forged in the trials of the wild, in the shadows of uncertainty, and in the hearts of those who learn from every mark left by challenge. As stars appeared once more above Pride Rock, Kion, Muga, and the guards stood together. Each bore the marks of battle, each carried the lessons of scars, and each recognized that true strength is measured not in power alone, but in the courage to endure, the humility to learn, and the commitment to protect. The scars had built a king, not one who ruled with fear or force, but one who inspired trust, unity, and hope across the Pride Lands. The first scar, etched deep within Kion's heart, whispered its lesson clearly. The price of leadership is experience, the cost of courage is risk, and the mark left by challenges is the foundation of greatness. The Lion Guard, having faced both shadow and self-doubt, had emerged stronger, wiser, and prepared for the battles yet to come. And for Kion, every scar was a reminder that a king is not made by birth alone, but by every trial faced, every lesson learned, and every act of bravery that shapes heart and soul. Sun rose over the Pride Lands, casting long golden rays that revealed not just the beauty of the land, but the scars that marked both the terrain and the hearts of those who protected it. Kion stood at Pride Rock, his muscles tense, eyes sharp, but his spirit steady. The first scars had taught him lessons, But true leadership would be tested again not by a single skirmish, but by a challenge that demanded courage, wisdom, and trust beyond measure. The Lion Guard assembled at his side, each carrying their own marks from battles past. Fuli's fur bore scratches from tangled vines and brushes with enemies, yet her eyes shone brighter than ever. Besht's massive frame carried dense and bruising symbols of the strength that had protected so many. Ono's feathers were slightly ruffled, not from fear, but from constant vigilance. And Bunga, the fearless honey badger, bore a limp he refused to admit to anyone, a silent reminder of sacrifice. Together, they represented not just power, but resilience, courage, and the scars that had built them into guardians. The threat this time was unlike any before. A cunning adversary, more patient than fierce, had begun destabilizing the borders with tactics unseen in the Pride Lands. Prey was stolen, alliances tested, and fear whispered through the savannah, threatening to undo the fragile trust Kion and his guard had worked so hard to build. This was not a battle won by claws alone. This was a war of hearts, wits, and leadership. Kion's first move was to assess, not attack. He called a council, not of elders, but of his team, respecting the voices of those who had endured alongside him. Fuli suggested reconnaissance to understand patterns. Besht proposed strengthening the waterholes and boundaries, ensuring the safety of those who could not fight. Ono mapped potential threats from above, observing every movement with precision, and Bunga offered strategies born of instinct, bold and unexpected. Kion listened to all, weighing advice with care, understanding that the scars each carried made them wiser, more capable, and indispensable. The plan was set, and the Lion Guard moved as one. They split into coordinated teams, each taking positions that required trust to function. Fuli raced across the plains, scouting enemy movements, relying on the knowledge that Bunga and Besht covered her blind spots. Ono flew overhead, alerting of shifts in strategy, while Kion and Bunga remained at the center, ready to act decisively when timing mattered most. Each step relied on the others, and each member's scars or proof that mistakes had been learned from, weaknesses had been strengthened, and courage had been tempered by experience. The first confrontation was subtler test of nerve rather than strength. Prey was found missing, paths blocked, and rumors of betrayal spread among neighboring prides. The adversary believed fear would fracture the guard, but Kion knew that scars were not weaknesses. They were reminders. For every mark on his body and every memory of past battles strengthened him, teaching patience, strategy, and the power of unity. As the enemy advanced, Kion called upon the roar of the elders, not as a weapon of brute force, but as a signal of solidarity. The sound echoed across the plains, reverberating in the hearts of every lion, hyena, and creature of the land. A call to remember who they were and why they stood together. The enemy hesitated, sensing not just strength, but the unbroken spirit of the Lion Guard, a team forged in adversity, united by scars, and guided by the courage of their leader. The fight intensified as the adversary attempted a flanking maneuver. Fuli's speed became crucial, intercepting threats before they could reach the vulnerable. Besht's strength blocked what could have been catastrophic, and Ono's sharp eyes directed the guard with precision, anticipating every move. Bunga, though injured, leapt into action at critical moments, proving that scars did not limit bravery, they defined it. Kion directed from the heart, trusting instincts honed through the pain of past mistakes. Moving as a conductor, orchestrating a symphony of courage and strategy. Hours passed, and the battle tested every lesson Kion had learned. Each scar pulsed with memory, first mistakes, first fears, first failures guiding decisions, and reminding him that true leadership required sacrifice and humility. The Lion Guard worked in perfect harmony, no member acting alone, each trusting the other completely. The enemy faltered, unprepared for the resilience and coordination forged from scars and experience. In the final confrontation, Kion faced the adversary directly. The enemy taunted, claiming that youth, inexperience, and previous failures would define him. Kion's scars, both physical and emotional, burned with pride and pain. He remembered every misstep, every lesson, every moment of doubt, and he roared not in defiance of fear, but in affirmation of the wisdom scars had granted him. The roar carried not just power, but understanding, courage, and the indomitable spirit of a lion shaped by every trial endured. The enemy fell back, their strategy unraveled, defeated not solely by claws or strength, but by the lessons embedded in scars, the unity of the Lion Guard, too, and the unwavering leadership of a king forged through pain. The Pridelands were safe once more, not because they had fought harder, but because they had learned to trust, endure, and act with wisdom born of scars. As twilight settled, Kion stood atop Pride Rock, the wind carrying the scent of victory and renewal. He looked at his guard, seeing not just companions, but warriors whose courage had been tempered by adversity. He realized that scars were more than reminders of battle, they were evidence of growth, proof of resilience, and the foundation upon which true leadership is built. The animas of the Pridelands gathered below, sensing the strength and security radiating from their leaders. They did not know of the scars or battles faced, but they felt the results: protection, guidance, and a promise that the land was in capable paws. Kion understood then that leadership was more than power. It was trust, experience, and the wisdom to transform scars into strength. As night embraced the Pridelands, stars reflected off the still waters, and Kion felt a profound truth settle within him. Every scar carried meaning. Every lesson endured shaped the heart of a king. And every challenge faced with courage and unity ensured that the Pridelands would thrive. Guided by a leader forged not by privilege, but by experience. Kion roared into the night, a roar that was not of triumph alone, but of resilience, wisdom, and the enduring lesson of the scars that had built him. The Lion Guard echoed his call, the voices joining together in a chorus that carried across valleys and rivers, a testament to what could be achieved when courage, trust, and experience converged. From that night forward, the Pridelands knew peace, not as something guaranteed, but as something earned through vigilance, unity, and the unwavering strength that comes from scars faced and lessons learned. Kion had become more than a leader. He had become a king, shaped by the trials he endured, guided by the wisdom of scars, and defined by the courage to protect everything he loved. And so, the story of the Lion Guard and their king endured. A tale of scars, strength, and the transformative power of challenges met with bravery and trust. A story that would inspire generations of lions and cubs for all time. The scars that built Kion were not marks of weakness, they were the blueprint of a true king.